Welcome to Ghostly Talk Shows. Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Challenges we have had to overcome in 2020.
Find your own voice.
The world has become united by the unseen, knowing there are no guarantees for tomorrow.
Lead from within.
Find your own voice.
Let the world hear your voice and be filled within.
For the day has come for you to be a great leader.
The time has come to break away from the pain, distraction, experience the unthinkable.
Welcome to Ghostly Talk Shows. My name is Nomsa Clara Mngbe. I am the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ghostly Talk Shows. So today, the topic is, what will you do if you are caught up in a love triangle? So I was doing some research. Apparently in America, 1 in 4, they get caught up in a love triangle. Sometimes you may think like you may watch live triangle in the movies and on TV, and you think it is something like an entertainment, but when you're really caught up in a live triangle, it can be very, very painful. It can be much less fun because there will be souls involved. There will be people that are involved. There will be 3 hearts or 4 hearts that are involved in that triangle, and you have to understand that you are basically liable to actually make sure that you are not responsible for breaking someone else's heart. And but why do these relationship develop, love triangle? Why does it develop in the first place? It's basically usually by accident. It doesn't just happen. It happens by accident, and it's basically sometimes someone can be in love with their ex, and that relationship breaks. And when that relationship breaks, and then they break away from each other, the ex, and then you find yourself. Some people they fall in love with people very quickly, and then that person meets somebody else, and then the ex appear again. If your emotions, if you have not dealt with your ex, basically dealt with the breakup properly. Some people are very manipulative. Some exes are very, very manipulative when they come back, because if they feel that they want you back, they can manipulate you, and then in the end you end up being with your present partner and being with the ex, and then maybe you are on the dating apps, and then you talking to multiple people on that dating apps, and then you end up in a very, very, very complicated situation. And that's why some people, when you ask them, are you in a relationship, they say it's complicated. It's either they get caught up in marriage triangle, getting involved with somebody who is married, or basically they get involved with more than one person, and then it becomes it doesn't become romantic anymore. It becomes a pain, because I personally believe that when you are in a relationship with more than one person, I love to think it's fun, but it's not. I don't think it is fun. I think it's pain, because you have to deal with the feelings of having to face the other person to tell them what is going on, or having to face the feelings of when people asking you is complicated, having to say is complicated. So how do you actually, if you find out that you have feelings with more than one person, for me, basically, that is a confusion, because a proper relationship does not bring confusion. So if you understand, you know, where everybody has been in relationships, and some people, they've been in a love triangle. If you have been in a love triangle, I'd love to know your story. And it's not a fun thing that we can say is done because somebody is careless or anything. Is the feelings. Feelings are very, very, when it comes to reality, feelings are real. So when somebody the ex appears, an ex that you loved and you cared for, and you knew that there was no future between you and that person, and then they appear. If you have not dealt with basically their feelings, of breaking off their feelings, and so you can move on with your life, that can end up being a love triangle where you end up being with somebody, with the two people, and then things gets complicated. Some people can say he's careless, but for me, I believe that is emotions. Emotions are real. They are real, and sometimes there's lots of things that are going on. We have attachment in our childhood. Sometimes some people is just a player. They are looking to be loved. They've never been loved before, and they're just gonna play women, or women are just gonna play men. So everything is emotions that is attached by emotions. So that you're gonna have to deal with it in order for you to not to end up in basically a live a triangle. So you can prevent being in that love triangle. So you're gonna need basically to make sure that you deal with your emotions, because emotions are not something I've had people, like, sometimes they, when you are in an abusive relationship, people say it's going to change, or somebody dating a married person, they say he's going to leave his wife, or he's going to leave her husband, or whatever. She's going to leave her husband, he's going to leave his wife. For me, that is the problem. When you actually want somebody to get out from their relationship, to dump somebody else, and you allowing that, that means that there is something wrong mentally. So that means mentally you're gonna need to deal with your emotions. You're gonna need to deal with the problems that are going on. We can't play with the emotions. Emotions are real, and you have to make up your mind. At the same time, you have to make up your mind with the procrastination, because if you are somebody who actually um, who is living in denial, if you have feelings that you need to deal with and you are living in denial, and those things can hold you back from a positive, basically for you to experience positive changes in your life. So you will need to face the facts that you do have problems. If you are faced with the love triangle, you need to face the truth. And instead of procrastination, procrastinating about the relationship, believing that that relationship is going to work. Because if you are in a life triangle, nothing is going to work, because the other person will find out about that relationship, and you end up being in a complicated situation. So you're gonna have to tell, if you find yourself feelings that you're still in love with your ex, you still want them back. So we can still love somebody, but that doesn't mean that we can have a future with them. So if you believe that you're still in love with your ex and you are not confused, you're gonna have to come clean. if you find yourself in a life triangle, and tell the other person that I am still in love with this person and I want to pursue the relationship, they're going to get hurt. And you're going to get hurt. Your ex is going to get hurt. But you have to face the consequences. Because when your ex appears, so you have to be responsible with your feelings. So if you allow them to actually enter your world and manipulate you, or if you, sometimes it might not be manipulation, it might be true love. That's what people call it, true love. Confusion. It's confusion. That's what people call it. They call it true love, which is confusion. If you broke up with somebody, why going back to them? Sometimes the people that break up and say, let's have a break, and then they have a break, they have an agreement that we're gonna have a break. And when we have a break, at this time we're gonna work on the things that maybe there's something that is not working out. But if you broke up with somebody because the relationship wasn't working at the time, and you break up with them, so what has changed? You have to ask yourself, what has changed? When they come back, what has changed? If they find somebody hit them in the head, or have they gone on and got professional help, and they realize that actually they are in love with you? So you have to ask yourself lots of questions. What has changed? This person coming back, and you have to look at the positive or bright side as well, and look forward of solving the problem instead of dwelling on the past. If your ex wants you back and you feel that you yourself, you want them back, because the relationship works two ways, not one ways. If you feel that, yes, I want them back, so you have to be honest with the other person as to prevent the future confusion. And once you understand the strategy, the things that you have to follow to be honest with somebody, because you can't lead both, you cannot lead both people behind their back, making them believe that you like the other person and you like both of them. So you can't do that. So you're gonna have to take responsibilities and ask yourself, if the situation gets worse, you have to be honest, basically by following the strategy of ending one relationship, is by asking yourself, well, how did you contribute into that situation? Your feelings, did you contribute your feelings because you are still in love with the other person and you were not aware of those feelings? How did you contribute? So once you ask yourself, and the other thing is you have to ask yourself, what attracts you to unhealthy relationships? Because if you go online and you are talking to multiple women and you find yourself in love with all of them, that means there is something that attracts you to do what you do. So you need to work on that. You need to find out what attracts you to those unhealthy relationship. And also you need to be honest. You need to communicate with yourself, very, very honest, because if you are honest, you are able to actually, instead of not coming in a place of blaming yourself, so you need to come to a place where you need to communicate honestly and set your feelings, and if you really, really want to pursue the other relationship and you want to end the other one, some people want both, but unfortunately, you can't have both relationships. There are some women who are happy dating, who are happy for their men to date more than women. There are some men who are actually happy for their women to date more than one man. So it has to be that agreement that if you believe that you want to pursue that relationship, that's not normal anyway. That is, for me, that means there is a problem. That means there is actually a problem when somebody agrees to actually for their spouse to pursue other relationship, because you can't love two people. You can't emotionally, you cannot, you can make love to more than one person, but you cannot uh, say deep, I'm in love with both of them. So unless if the other one agrees to be used for benefits, apparently there's some relationship for benefits, sex. Uh, some people, they're wealthy, they just want to find women or men to spoil women. There's some women who are wealthy, they want to find women to spoil. There are men who wants to find women to spoil. So it has to be the agreement. But that is different with life triangle. Sometimes you find that sometimes people enter a relationship for basically for benefits and they end up falling in love. So basically whatever you do in that relationship, basically you get hurt if you stay with between two people. So you have to ask yourself, how did I contribute this? My feelings, and also build a support when it comes to, if you are going through that love triangle, you're gonna have to, you may be less vulnerable to love triangle if you cultivate other relationships. Spend time with your family and friends. So just try to stay in touch with your family and stay in touch with your friends, even if you are in a relationship. Just try to stay in touch with your family, and even if you are dating, and pace yourself, give yourself some time to get to know the person that you are dating. As long as you've told them about the situation and you've agreed to end the other relationship. When you are dating somebody, you have to, it's like on the dating site. Um, when you register on the dating site, you can chat to, there's some people that say, I'm going to chat to multiple women and get to know them. And once I get to know them and see whether they're serious or they're not. But for me, as a matchmaker, it's very simple. When you go on a dating site, if I was single and then go into a dating site, I chat to somebody, they give me their number. I get to know them, they give me their number, tell me, I ask questions, they answer my questions, and we go on a date. And once we go on a date, if we agree to get to know each other, there is no need for me to chat to somebody else, because that would be a distraction. If I chat to other people, that means I'm not actually getting to know this other person. So it's a distraction. So what I would need to do is to chat to one person at a time. If I go on a date and we get along, so I get to focus on one person, but some people get to chat to multiple people, and then that causes confusion. When you are chatting to loads of people, even if they're not serious, basically what you do basically as a person, you're gonna have to, if you go on a dating site, or if you meet someone and you start dating them, for you not to be caught up in a life triangle, you have to ask yourself, what do I want in life? What do I want? It's a movie. When you're watching a movie on TV or Netflix or Sky, you get carried. You basically you go along with the story. You want to know the ending. So what do you want in life? So you have to have a movie, a story written about what you want, what kind of a person you want in that relationship, so that when you go on the dating site, so you don't get caught up in that love triangle. You speak to one person at a time. If that person you are not getting along, there is no point in chatting and chatting. That's what matchmakers do. They match people based on their want, based on their desires. They are no games. There are no games for me to say, okay, I'm going to send you 5 introductions same time. No, we don't do that. We give you one introduction at a time. So when you receive that introduction at a time, you then tell us, no, I don't want to continue. Then the introductions continues. So that's what needs to happen when you go on the dating site. Focus on one person. That is not going to waste your time. If you focus on that person, there must be something in that movie that you've written that you basically like about the person. So if you don't like the person, don't waste time chatting to multiple men on dating site. Don't waste time. If they don't have what you are looking for, you move on. There is no time to play. There is no time for games. You move on, because the more you start chatting to the people, the more you're gonna waste your time, the more you're gonna get attached with the people. And then when you get attached, you end up getting attached to more than one person, more than 2 people. But if you focus on this is what I want, you go on a date with that person. If they're not what you're looking for, you move on. Thank you for meeting me. And you move on. Don't collect. Where is my bag? You get my bag. Some people collect partners, and when they go to the dating site, they collect. You see, this bag is a shopping bag. This bag is a shopping bag. So some people, when they go on the dating site, they register on the dating site looking for a partner, but they end up collecting more than one. Friends, okay, this one I don't like, it's not good for dating, but I'm gonna collect them as friends. They put them there. They put them there, end up getting distracted. They end up getting distracted, and once you get distracted, they end up getting distracted, and then in the distraction, they start talking, and then they end up falling for each other. Then it gets complicated. So basically, it's simple. When you go on the dating site, you know your story, you know why you are there. So basically, there are some friends that God, there are some people that God will put it in your way to help you. That one I cannot take away from you. So you know the person, if that person is there to guide you through, you met them on the dating site, and you have something in common as friends, and you want to basically to stay in touch. One person I can understand, but don't start collecting dating site men or women into the shopping bag, putting them into your shopping bag, and you collect them. They become basically they love triangle, and so don't do that. And once you actually give yourself time to get to know your potential partner, romantic partner, slow down. Basically, you will need to slow down. There's so many things that people, when they meet somebody, they want to do so many things at a time. You will need to slow down, and so that it can be easier for you to spot any signs if that person is honest or not. Um, or maybe they're involved with somebody else as well. So it's very, very important that you actually slow down and get to know the other person, because if you've met on the dating site or wherever you've met, some people, they do what I just said, that they get to know more than one person. And for me, basically, I don't suggest that. I know it works for other people, but I wouldn't do it to anyone else. Just get to know one person. If that relationship is not working, just continue while you are there on the dating site, and make sure that um, you basically follow your strategy. When you go on the site, you just focus on what you're looking for and then get out once you find what you're looking for. And resist comparison. There are some spouse that love to compare their exes with their present partners. So what do you do when you're with your spouse in the moment? Do you compare them, or do you think about your ex while you are trying to basically to get to know somebody, while you are trying to date somebody else? What do you do? So if you find yourself in that situation, if you find yourself basically having those feelings that you think about your ex while you are trying to date somebody else, get a journal, write everything down, because you cannot ignore the feelings. Some people ignore their feelings, which if you ignore those feelings, they will affect your relationship that you are in. So take a journal, keep a journal, write down every feelings, be aware of when do those feelings come, when you are actually what happens when those feelings when those feelings appears, what triggers those feelings, or when you start comparing your ex with your present spouse. So write down everything that you see is actually um, basically just write down everything. And if possible, once you write down those feelings, and if you feel that you cannot deal with those feelings, you cannot deal with the feelings, you might have to go for counseling so that you can deal with the feelings. You might have to actually get professional help if you are actually searching for more, and you want a proper strategy for you to deal with the problems that you're facing. Because if you find yourself, when you are dating somebody and you are actually if you and you're